Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for requesting this private EFT session that Rita and I are getting ready to do. So, if you've already listened to the podcast episode, you've gotten a little bit of understanding of what EFT is all about. And this is going to give you a real life application for it so that you can do it along with us. Now, I just had the pleasure of doing an hour and a half of amazing breath work with Rita. So I'm feeling relaxed, recharged, energized. And that's saying a lot because she knows I was not feeling well right before we started. So I'm feeling good going into this. And I want to remind everybody that's going to tap with us, make sure you're hydrated. I've got some electrolyte water here that I'm drinking, and just make sure that you've had hydration because this does move a lot of energy in the body. And it won't work as well if you're dehydrated. The energy likes the water to move within. So we are going to be working on some energetic blockages. So, Rita, you said you want to work on confident decision making. Tell me more about what comes up for you when you think about decision making, or what feels like it's in the way or resistant or a problem for you right now.
So in terms of following my intuition, so I usually do that when I make a decision, but lately it's been, oh, is that really what I want to do? Or is this the direction that I really want to take? So I'm sort of second guessing myself, even though I'm following my intuition. So I want to build more confidence around decision making. So those decisions that I make, so that once I make the decision, that's it. There's no cognitive dissonance. There's no looking back. It's like, okay, that's it. I'm confident that this is the right decision for me at this moment with the information that I have. And then I'll deal with it if it's not.
What kind of feelings do you have, or even sensations in the body, when you're faced with making a decision?
Okay, so basically it's around the belly area, the gut, and also I feel it in my upper chest. So sort of this tightness around the upper chest, and maybe as if somebody's about to punch me in the stomach, and you're like, oh, like sort of that kind of feeling around the belly area. So there's two different types of feelings. But yeah, that's kind of what I'm feeling.
All right. Does this happen with only like really big decisions, or does it happen with everyday type things?
Mostly, yeah, the big decisions, mostly the business, sometimes relationships as well, but mostly business decisions. Yes.
Okay. You don't have to share if you don't want to, but is there a particular decision that you can think of right now that activates that feeling in you?
Not at the moment. I wouldn't say there's a particular decision because I've already taken it.
And how did it go when you made the decision that you needed to make?
So I'm working on it. So there's still a bit of, oh, was that the right thing to do? Or maybe not, but I'm still working on it, sort of just kind of being okay with whatever happens, right? With
Okay.
if it's
So
yes
maybe even that feeling that's left over from the decision that's already been made is an activating feeling. I just want you to find something that can kind of get you a little bit like fired up about the lack of confidence or the self-doubt and decision making so that we can work on it.
Well, I can think of something else. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yes.
And for anybody listening and doing this along with us, if there's a big decision that you have on the horizon in your relationships, in your work, in any part of your life, I want you to bring that top of mind as we start doing this. EFT favors our focus on the negative always to begin with. So we're always kind of focusing on those things that are not quite right or bothering us, the darker stuff, so that we can actually genuinely cultivate the things that we want to feel more of without them getting overshadowed by those shadow sides of ourselves, and allowing those to release and move up and out as emotions should do. So the second guessing, the intuition, what other kind of feelings tend to come up for you in the midst of decision making? Anything else?
I guess fear, a bit of fear as well. Am I making the right decision, right? Is this the right path that I should be taking? For sure.
Okay. Do the decisions
frustration too? It's
okay.
like, oh, why am I feeling this? I should be more confident. I know what I want. This is the path I want to take. So why is there this like a bit of frustration too? Yeah.
Okay, that's good. That's really helpful. And do the decisions feel final? Like, does it feel like there's if once you make them, there's nothing else that you can do other than follow the one path?
Good question. Some do, and some don't. It's like, yeah, I'm learning to sort of embrace that. Hey, if this is not the right decision, then I can take a different path if it doesn't work out.
All right.
But some, it does seem like it's like this or nothing.
All right. So I want you to think about those feelings of uncertainty, the lack of confidence around decision making, and we're going to give it a number. It's pretty arbitrary, just a starting point. So 0 is I don't have any problems with this, totally confident, throw the decisions at me, I'm ready to make them. 10 is I don't know what to do. This is bringing up all the fear and all those awful feelings and, that kind of thing. So where do you feel like you are on that scale of 0 to 10 as we just start this round right here in the present moment?
Okay, let's do 8 for that particular decision, right? That I need to take, or in
Sure.
general.
For that in the present moment, how do you feel?
Okay, let's say 8.
All right. And then for everybody else, write your number down too. It's really important to know what happens from beginning to end within ourselves and within our energy. And this is just kind of a marker. And some people get really hung up on like, I don't know, is it a 7.5? Is it a 5? Is it just, if you're worried about what your number is, just write down 5. And then you always can figure out if you went up or if you went down. And that's really all that matters. So yeah, the idea is that to get close to the root of the problem, you're going to get to a 0. But anything that we can take off of this, being that we're only tapping together for 10 minutes here, is a great, leap towards getting closer to that 0. So I'm going to have you just kind of follow the leader with me on this. And we're going to start on the side of the hand, which is known as the karate chop point. We'll be going through all the normal EFT points. So they'll be the top of the head, the eyebrow, the side of the eye, under the nose, under the mouth, the collarbone, which is really below the collarbone, kind of more like the chest, and then under the arm. Those would be the ones that we focus on. So starting on the side of the hand, this is where we kind of set things up and we set our intention for this. I'm just going to have you repeat after me. Even though I don't have the confidence I wish I did about decision making.
Even though I don't have the confidence I wish I did about decision making.
I want to love, accept, and forgive myself.
I want to love, accept, and forgive myself.
Even though it feels like I need to strengthen my intuition.
Even though it feels like I need to strengthen my intuition.
I honor these feelings and accept myself anyway.
I honor these feelings and accept myself anyway.
And even though it feels like a really big deal when I'm in the midst of making these decisions.
And even though it feels like a really big deal when I'm in the midst of making these decisions.
And all sorts of feelings come up for me.
And all sorts of feelings come up for me.
I love, accept, and forgive myself.
I love, accept, and forgive myself.
Now we're going to start going through those other points. All of this second guessing myself.
All of this second guessing myself.
It makes it so hard to make a decision.
It makes it so hard to make a decision.
And I end up facing these decisions with so much resistance and self-doubt.
And I end up making these decisions with so much resistance and self-doubt.
Instead of leaning into my intuition.
Instead of leaning into my intuition.
And I feel like even though I know that's what I need to do.
And I feel like even though I know that's what I need to do.
It is so hard to actually do it.
It is so hard to actually do it.
Because there's always this voice inside of my head.
Because there's always this voice inside of my head.
Asking and wondering if I'm going to get it wrong.
Asking and wondering if I'm going to get it wrong.
And it makes the decision feel so big and so final.
And it makes the decision feel so big and so final.
And I question myself.
And I question myself.
And I feel it in my gut.
And I feel it in my gut.
In my belly.
In my belly.
In my upper chest.
In my upper chest.
This tightness.
This tightness.
And I want to be able to trust my gut.
And I want to be able to trust my gut.
It's my second brain.
It's my second brain.
It's connected to my intuition.
It's connected to my intuition.
And it feels so stirred up when I have to make a decision.
And it feels so stirred up when I have to make a decision.
I'm open to the idea that maybe it's just doing its job.
I'm open to the idea that maybe it's just doing its job.
My body and mind are trying to protect me from the unfamiliar.
My body and mind are trying to protect me from the unfamiliar.
Because even when what's familiar isn't what I want,
Because even when what's familiar isn't what I want,
it's what I know.
it's what I know.
And my brain and subconscious would rather keep me there
And my brain and subconscious would rather keep me there
than let me go off and try something new.
than let me go off and try something new.
I'm open to the idea
I'm open to the idea
that I'm able to handle this without worrying about those feelings.
that I'm able to handle this without worrying about those feelings.
They've served their purpose,
They've served their purpose,
and I'm aware of them,
and I'm aware of them,
but it's safe to make my decisions without worrying
but it's safe to make my decisions without worry
and to branch off into new territory.
and to branch off into new territory.
Releasing this tightness and resistance down to a cellular level.
Releasing this tightness and resistance down to a cellular level.
Releasing the second guessing and the self-doubt.
Releasing the second guessing and the self-doubt.
Life is always going to have uncertainty,
Life is always going to have uncertainty,
but I enjoy it so much more when I lean into it.
but I enjoy it so much more when I lean into it.
Instead of approaching my decisions with fear.
Instead of approaching my decisions with fear.
Releasing my frustration and even some impatience.
Releasing my frustrations and even some impatience.
Now we're going to tap on the sides of the fingers so that I can move into this next chapter.
So that I can move into this next chapter.
Whatever lies on the other side of me making this decision.
Whatever lies on the other side of me making this decision.
With ease.
With ease.
And love and acceptance.
And love and acceptance.
And tolerance and understanding.
And tolerance and understanding.
And with all those things, I call my power back into my body.
And with all those things, I call my power back into my body.
And I forgive.
And I forgive.
Back of the hand. I am whole, complete, and powerful.
I am whole, complete, and powerful.
Incapable of making any decision without the added stress.
I'm incapable of making any decision without the added stress.
Take a nice deep inhale through your nose, Rita. And then exhale out through your mouth. Just kind of come back into your body here in the chair. And let me know how that was for you. What came up, what thoughts you might have had, and how you're feeling.
Yeah, definitely very powerful words with the tapping. I felt some of the words really resonating, almost giving me a little push, like, you're going to be okay. This is okay. The words really resonated. That was beautiful, Theresa.
Good. Glad.
Felt the relief. I felt that relief around the chest area, almost that
Good.
melting feeling. Sort
That's
of that
really
ease.
important. And if it's the bodily sensations that hold you back more than, the stories and the beliefs and the mental stuff, you can always just tap with that in mind, even though I have this tightness in my chest, or even though I have this feeling in my gut, and then you can just describe the feeling, so tight, or maybe it has a color or a texture, and you can kind of go through and address those things, and you'll really notice those physical sensations dissipating.
Mm-hmm.
So where would you say that you are on that same 0 to 10 scale now?
Yeah, this is incredible. Wow. 5?
Great.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's almost half of where you started.
Exactly.
So
Amazing.
is it possible at all, and it might not be, to identify what makes up what's left for you?
In terms of why is it still a 5?
Yeah. Like what's
Hmm.
still there for you that is yet to be resolved, preventing you from getting all the way to a 0?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's in my head now more than anything. It's like, no, I
Because
can't go.
that would be like, if we were doing a session together, if you were my client, that would be where we would go next, because
Right.
that would take us closer and closer to the root of what it is that's at the heart of the lack of confidence around decision making, which
Mm,
is most likely, you know, everybody has fear when it comes to uncertainty, and yet we live in a world where only things are uncertain. And so, getting more comfortable with that, or resolving some specific fears that really stand out, can make a really big difference in getting that a lot closer to a 0, and having you have a
mm,
more full self-trust and
mm.
awareness as you make future decisions or work through the current one that you're in.
Right. Yes. Amazing.
Awesome. Well, thank
Oh,
you so much for tapping along with me.
thank you. This is
And thank you all
incredible.
for listening and trying this out also. I think you picked a great topic because everybody struggles with this. I don't know a single person who doesn't. And hopefully other people got good shifts too. So if you tapped along with us, I always love to hear from people. Feel free to shoot me an email, Theresa@theresalearlevine.com. Let me know how it went for you. You can feel free to send me your starting and ending number and the same kinds of things that I asked Rita questions about. And if there's something that's left for you, then we can chat about it further. But thanks again, Rita. I appreciate your time doing this today. And I
Thank
wish you
you.
ease in your future decision making.
Thank you so much. This was beautiful. Thank you.
Mhm.